Hi everybody, welcome back. This is episode 4 of our reading of The Hobbit by J.R.R. Tolkien. We apologise for the delay in getting this to you. We had some technical difficulties. This is actually our 4th time reading this particular passage. We got up to they're having a party at Bilbo's house, an unexpected party. A whole heap of dwarves rocked up at Bilbo's house, and they've had their dinner and they've been singing. So if you want to hear us singing, go back to the last episode, but for now I'm just going to finish up with the last verse. Far over the misty mountains grim, to dungeons deep and caverns dim, we must away ere break of day, to win our harps and gold from him. As they sang, the Hobbit felt the love of beautiful things, made by hands and by cunning and by magic, moving through him. A fierce and a jealous love, the desire of the hearts of dwarves. Then something tookish woke up inside him, and he wished to go and see the great mountains, and hear the pine trees and the waterfalls, and explore the caves and wear a sword instead of a walking stick. He looked out of the window. The stars were out in a dark sky above the trees. He thought of the jewels of the dwarves shining in dark caverns. Suddenly, in the wood beyond the water, a flame leapt up, probably someone lighting a wood fire, and he thought of plundering dragons settling on his quiet hill and kindling it all to flames. He shuddered, and very quickly he was plain Mr. Baggins of Bag End Underhill again. He got up trembling. He had less than half a mind to fetch the lamp, and more than half a mind to pretend to, and go and hide behind the beer barrels in the cellar, and not come out again until all the dwarves had gone away. Suddenly he found that the music and the singing had stopped, and they were all looking at him with eyes shining in the dark. "Where are you going?" said Thorin, in a tone that seemed to show that he guessed both halves of the Hobbit's mind. "What about a little light?" said Bilbo apologetically. "We like the dark," said all the dwarves. "Dark for dark business. There are many hours before dawn." "Of course," said Bilbo, and sat down in a hurry. He missed the stool and sat in the fender, knocking over the poker and shovel with a crash. "Hush," said Gandalf. "Let Thorin speak." And this is how Thorin began. "Gandalf, dwarves, and Mr. Baggins, we are met together in the house of our friend and fellow conspirator. This most excellent and audacious Hobbit, may the hair on his toes never fall out. All praise to the Hobbit, but the compliments were quite lost on poor Bilbo Baggins, who was wagging his mouth in protest at being called audacious, and worst of all, fellow conspirator. Though no noise came out, he was so flummoxed. So Thorin went on. We are met to discuss our plans, our ways, our means, our policy, and devices. We shall soon before the break of day start on our long journey, a journey from which some of us, or perhaps all of us, except our friend and counsellor, the ingenious wizard Gandalf, may never return. It is a solemn moment. Our object is, I take it, well known to us all. To the estimable Mr. Baggins, and perhaps to one or two of the younger dwarves. I think I should be right in naming Killy and Philly, for instance. The exact situation at the moment may require a little brief explanation. Do you want to read next?
Yeah.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah.
Yes.
This is Thorin's start. He was an important dwarf. If he had been allowed, he would probably have gone on like this until he was out of breath without telling anyone there he began to feel a streak coming up inside, and very soon it burst out like the whistle of an engine coming out of a tunnel. All the dwarves sprang up, knocking over the table. Gandalf struck a blue light on the end of his magic staff. Staff?
Yeah, staff. It's his wizard staff. You know, the big wizard stick.
Oh yeah.
Like his walking stick.
And in its firework glare, the poor hobbit could be seen kneeling on the hearth rug, shaking like a jelly that was melting. Then he fell flat on the floor and kept calling out, struck by lightning, over and over again. And that was all they could get out of him for a long time. So they took him and laid him out of the way on the drawing room sofa with a drink at his elbow, and they went back to their dark business. Excitable little fellow, said Gandalf, as they sat down again. Gets funny queer?
Yeah, queer, strange.
Queer gets.
Queer fits.
Oh, queer fits, I know. But he's one of the best. One of the best. That doesn't make sense, right?
Yeah, he's just repeating himself. But he is one of the best. One of the best. As fierce as a dragon in a pinch.
Yeah, what he said. If you have ever seen a dragon in a pitch, you will realise that this was only
Poetical.
exaggeration
Yeah.
applied to any hobbit, even to old Took's great grand uncle Balrora, who was so huge for a hobbit that he could ride a horse. He charged the ranks of the goblins of Mount Graham in the battle of the Green Fields, and knocking their king Golfimble's head clean off with a wooden club. Do I go back to?
Yeah, go to there.
Okay. Where?
Just to the end of that paragraph.
He sailed 100 yards through the air and went down a rabbit hole. And in the way, the battle was won, and the game, and the game of golf invented at the same moment.
That's funny. I didn't notice that the goblin's name was Golfimbull, and he knocked his head off, and it went into a rabbit hole. Very funny. Make sure you're in. Yeah, you're in camera.
In the meanwhile, however, Balrora's gentler descendant was reviving in the drawing room. After a while and a drink, he crept nervously to the door of the parlour. This was what he heard. Glorn speaking, or some snort more or less like that. Will he do you think? It is all very well for Gandalf to talk about this hobbit being fierce, but one shriek like that in a moment of excitement would be enough to wake the dragon and all his relatives and kill the lot of us. I think it sounded more like fright than excitement. In fact, if it had not been for the sign on the door, I should have been sure that we had come to the wrong house. As soon as I clapped eyes on the little fellow bobbing and puffing on the mat, I had my doubts. He looked more like a grocer than a burglar. Then Mr. Baggins turned the handle and went in. The Took side had won. He suddenly felt he would go without bed and breakfast to be thought fierce. As for little fellow bobbing on the mat, it almost made him really fierce. Many a time afterwards, the Baggins part regretted what he did now, and he said to himself, Bilbo, you were a fool. You walked right in and put your foot in it. Pardon me, he said. If I have overheard words that you were saying, I don't pretend to understand what you were talking about, or your reference to burglars, but I think I am right in believing, this is what they called being on his dignity, that you think I am no good. I will show you. I have no signs on my door. It was painted a week ago, and I am quite sure you have come to the wrong house, As soon as I saw your funny faces on the doorstep, I had my doubts. But treat this as the right one. Tell me what you want done, and I will try it. If you have to walk from here to the east of East and fight the wild... if I have to walk from here to the east of East and fight the wild wereworms in the last desert. I had a great-great-great-grand uncle once, Aurora took, and yes, but that was a long time ago. Oh, do you want me to stop?
No, we'll keep going. We'll finish in a couple of paragraphs.
Okay.
Do you want me to finish?
Yeah. Because I'm alright.
Yes, but that was long ago, said Glowen. I was talking about you, and I assure you there is a mark on the door, the usual one in the trade, or used to be, burglar. Wants a job, plenty of excitement, and reasonable reward. And that is how it is usually read. You can say expert treasure hunter instead of burglar if you like. Some of them do. It's all the same to us. Gandalf told us that there was a man in the sort in these parts looking for a job at once, and that he'd arranged for a meeting here this Wednesday, tea time. Of course there is a mark, said Gandalf. I put it there myself, for very good reasons. You asked me to find the 14th man for your expedition, and I chose Mr. Baggins. Just let anyone say I chose the wrong man, or the wrong house, and you can stop at 13 and have all the bad luck you like, or go back to digging coal. He scowled so angrily at Glowen that the dwarf huddled back in his chair, and when Bilbo tried to open his mouth to ask a question, he turned and frowned at him and stuck out his bushy eyebrows till Bilbo shut his mouth tight with a snap. That's right, said Gandalf. Let's have no more argument. I have chosen Mr. Baggins, and that ought to be enough for all of you. If I say he's a burglar he is, or will be when the time comes. There's a lot more in him than you can guess, and a deal more than he has any idea of himself. You may, possibly, or live to thank me yet. Now, Bilbo, my boy, fetch the lamp, and let's have a little light on this. And that's the end from us tonight. We hope to see you tomorrow night. We'll get our technology sorted, don't you worry. See ya!